Thank you very much. Yeah, this is a little bit of a outdated slide, and the front of it actually says, thank you very much to Arena and the teams. My speech is a little bit about collaboration and people. I know Yannis kind of went a different direction, but my speech is going to be a little about people and how AI is going to interact and how people are going to coexist. And yeah, I don't do this often, so kind of bear with me, okay? But my talk will be a celebration, and we should kind of celebrate why we're here, because we are here. We're not sitting in front of a group of machines. Humans are still in the mix. And that's today what I'm going to touch on. These are core messages that are important to me. I'm a little bit of a, and you're going to see later on, I'm really people-centric. I really believe it. And I'm curious also, I don't have the answers as to what's going to happen next. But what you're going to see today is kind of my thoughts, which can also be right or wrong, okay? It's somewhat of a call to action, and that is a contents page which was removed from the deck. We're going to go back under the advice of Arena, actually. But simply, the presentation's going to be a little bit, I see what you mean, Yannis. This is a little bit of a call to action, okay? Where humans and AI will need to coexist to the strengths of each other. Otherwise, we may be pulled apart. But again, frankly, who knows? I don't. Yes, and there is another contents, the same contents page. You've seen it twice, and you shouldn't have seen it at all. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so, yeah, a bit of a teaser. No, I'm a humanist at my heart. I'm a kind of simple person, and I'm very passionate that people are at the core of what we do, today at the very least. And frankly, behaviorally modern humans have been around for around 80,000 years, I'm told, yeah? And over the years, we've advanced from me on a Friday until basically the end of the graph, okay? Around 150 years ago, network humans arrived, and as Yannis said, in the last 75 years, technology and AI has kind of kicked in, and to some extent, we're now kind of here, or here, yeah? But it depends on the day, but this is in essence an old-fashioned graphic. You've seen it all, how we've evolved, but really honestly, in my lifetime, which is quite small, we've evolved crazily, yeah? More so in the last 5 years since the whole Gen AI piece. So, there. As I said, today for me is a celebration. We celebrate how we got here. It's a journey of partnership, which with mindit and the teams, many of which are all in front of me. And my experiences, which were just best described as intense, human collaboration, you know? All day, every day, most nights, sometimes weekends, and in the end, it's getting things done. I first came across mindit kind of 2019, loosely 2016, in A&P when I worked in my previous day job, which was an ERP background. And that ERP background, you know, ERP in 2-3 in those days was a functional department. You know, we were good, we contributed, we were successful, but for me it was a little bit mechanical. And that's kind of changed. Then Yannis arrived to some extent, and he was chasing me for a while. But in the end, at a certain point, then came the applications, then came Yannis, then came a little bit of a different sort of mentality. It was a new start, new perspective. And another layer of, at that time, I would now call it sort of people centricity. When we work on the ERP side, it was a little bit, you have to prepare this because legal customs, financial, end of, yeah? There was not a thought why we're doing this, why we're benefiting people. And so when I jumped into the apps domain, it was like, whoa, what is this? And my first trip to Bucharest was 2019, probably, plus minus. It was insane. It was 4 days, felt like 7 days. It was 4 days, it was 12, 14-hour days, it was intense, there was whiteboards, we were drawing on the wall, there was developers being wheeled in and wheeled out, we were kind of vibe coding, you know, I was changing color schemes, changing components, and that for me was wow. And that was what I remember I remember Irina taking me to the airport. She asked me, how was it? I said that really cheesy statement, which was legendary, because I was just so tired. My head, I couldn't think of what to say. And it just pulled this from the sky. But it was actually legendary because it was with the people. We learned to we co-created, we were together, we were vibing, we were bouncing off each other. We didn't know each other, but we built the trust, we built relationships, and many of the people are here today. And to some extent, those outcomes, those durable outcomes, they're still here today. Okay? For me, as I said, there's Russell's belief and there's Russell's theory, but there is also research to this. Psychological safety and healthy communication interaction patterns, they are science, if you're that way minded. So there's research behind it. In the end, it's boiled down to human foundations. The human foundations that we built in those days were relevant, and they're still relevant now. And we need to see how we work together as AI, joins the team, which it is. Point to that direction. So, shipping software is multi-persona. You have probably seen this before, but the product defines the why. The design shapes how it feels. Developers create how it works. QA ensures reliability and quality. In the end, it's not a solo, it's an orchestra. Everyone needs to come together. Each role brings another element of input. They bring another element of truth. And in those early days of the partnership and the collaboration with mindit, we did exactly that. We were largely in the same room. We were just mashing stuff together. Every person, every persona, everyone had a voice. It's right down to the developer. I still remember some of these guys and girls come in, basically did their thing, and then they left. But they had a voice. And I was not exposed to that. I was used to working in an ERP that was kind of, you had to do this and you had to ship it. Collaboration, in the end, it's multi-persona. Collaboration really is the definition of multi-persona. Multi-persona is the very definition of collaboration. Every role shares that context. Every role plays a part, and they sync. And when those people are together, and including the developers, kind of singled them out because we hear only about developer assistance and developer whatever, but they're one part of this story. And I strongly think it's still, that this will continue. They must continue in Russell's eyes. So yeah. Evidence, I won't go through the evidence, but there's been a lot of evidence by a lot of very smart people pulled together, a lot of large companies, Google. The project Aristotle looks into this in terms of team psychological safety. You can pull it off the internet and use it and abuse it for your own purposes, but it's really good. MIT and Harvard Business Review, socio patterns about how equal voices, equal turn-taking, when everyone plays a part, in essence, the success is more predictable, yeah? These findings aren't theory. They explain why. They kind of roll back to those early days. And again, another research, in-person direct collaboration sparks creativity. In the end, this is what we had when we first partnered with mindit. I was not used to it. It was very effective. Co-location, everyone playing their part. I didn't know anyone at the time. The personas, the roles, for me, they were just people. People came in and did their thing. They left. We high-fived each other. But in the end, it was the beginning of what you've seen in the prior slide. And for me, it's that equal participation and doing things in the open is what I care about most. We need to work in the open. It should, in theory, equate to faster learning loops, fewer learning reloops, and better decision making. But people need to be together and in the open and press buttons. Come on. Yeah, so collaboration rituals, they were there 2019. They've been there many years before that. But co-location bursts, they accelerate the discovery, people getting together, bashing out ideas, bashing out good ideas, bad ideas, terrible ideas, doesn't matter. Pair mob programming, spreading the knowledge, making mistakes, not being afraid to question why, not being afraid to try something. And in the end, we did those in those early days. People doing it before, but we need to also document. We need to document why we did things. Records need to be in place as we go forward in the AI piece. I feel people are just going to do things because they can do things and forget why they did something, and I don't believe it's going to work. And again, the core ritual of design, develop, ship in the open. Transparency and visibility, for me, is key. I can't see things working without. There's benefits, there's metrics, we all know these. Speed, less back and forth, less reworking, less refactoring. Having that organizational memory, remembering why we did something, why we made a decision, why we went, that's a nice sign, perfect sign. I think I'm nearly done. But in the end, all jokes aside, it is about, and in my areas, and the guys that work with me know that it's all about documentation, because in the end, the documentation will serve its purpose. And going forward, it will serve its purpose even more. The benefits in alignment. If you don't have alignment, things will fall apart. People will not be knowing what they're doing, why they're doing it, when they're doing it. So the core rituals, in my opinion, equal alignment. And without the alignment, things don't work. Then there's the metrics. I won't go in too much into the metrics, but the metrics also make sense. Lead times, velocity, MTTR, rework percentage. Some of these we don't have in our areas, but actually they're coming and they will make sense. So, yeah. And I guess the core message for me is we need to keep these rituals on the left, and we need to layer AI on top, because for me, how we work, sounds cheesy, but really how we work really will shape the outcome. If you work in a really chaotic way, the likelihood is you're going to be the other side. Anyway, welcome AI. 1990s, 2000s, Yannis gave the history lesson, so I won't. The hype arrived. The hype is still here, but I think now, at least for me, the reality begins to follow. AI is everywhere. I don't need you to tell me this, speeding routine work, surfacing signals, surfacing ideas. It is there. But technology is a tool, and in my opinion, it's a tool. It's not the boss, okay? As I said, I'm a little bit of a humanist. I still believe people have a role to play. We need to build guardrails. We need to be mindful of the risks. We need to press a button. And again, where AI helps, I won't go too much into it. This is not anything new. But yeah, assistance, the agentic AI piece, draft, summary, scaffolding, co-completion, test generation, it's all there. Agentic workflows are a thing. They're not going to wait too far. Copilot, Sarah, bingo. These agentic, you can delegate to these agentic workflows. You can refactor, you can bug fix, you can delegate. That's the key. There are gains. We haven't fully materialized the gains, at least in my areas, something we need to start doing. But there are tools, endless tools. Again, but the tool is a tool. It's not the boss, okay? Software development is going to change. It'll go, I think, more from assisting to eventually fully productionized workflows, fully productionized systems. In how many years? 3, 5 years? It will be the case. However, again, there's so much opportunity, but at the same time, there is risks and guardrails that we need to adopt. There's still companies, of which I'm one of them, we haven't maximized the value. We haven't been able to materialize AI in our ways of working as much as we want. Strategy can be unclear. The governance can be fuzzy. Security, can be a problem. Business value is hard to measure. We don't fully understand it. Literacy is not perfect. So there are adoption challenges. Then, famous, I guess I'm running over time, no? I think everyone agrees that AI is here. AI is here to, and it's here to stay. There are phases. You will have seen these phases before. We're kind of in this phase 1. We need to get into phase 2. There should be a label here that says not everything needs to have an agent, which I somewhat believe. There is also cause for proper workflows, proper automations, but anyway. So these are the phases that we probably will go through. The risks, again, pipeline risk. No juniors, no seniors, no people with no knowledge can be a problem. Collaboration risk. People simply talk to their computer all day, and basically it erodes any form of collaboration, any form of open and shared context. People stop working in the open, and they just punch their laptop. There is this element. I'm reading a lot about how it could impact loneliness and fatigue. People will get fatigued because they're talking to their terminal all day, and that's not normal. Okay. Guardrails, as I said, kind of rushing this, but in the end, some of this isn't new. AI should propose, humans, I think, should decide. Humans sign off for critical, really material things, I think, still necessary. Decision logs, reasons for doing things, not just doing it because you could do it and then you move on as quick as you can. Co-location, AI-free drills to preserve the craft. This way. Whoops. No, that way, no. Sorry. Let me go back one. Come on. Nope. There's a genuine lag between this screen and that screen. So we try again. Sorry. Think so? Yes. I'm missing some bits because there's another version. But essentially, as I said, looking back, I'm a bit of a humanist. AI, I think, has a place to automate and suggest and propose and assist. But I think humans should govern. They should still maintain their craft, their skill, the connection, and I think the accountability at core. It's not in my notes, but something that stands out is we should not automate the care away. We should care what we're doing, not just automate it away because the GPT says, or give you a verbose answer. And I genuinely believe that's at least where we need to land. Yeah, somewhat rushing. Yeah, as I said, the title of this was about collaboration compounds. For me, the collaboration kicked off in 2019 when I met many of the people in this room and many of the people that I bother and annoy every day. But really, honestly, every hour of that connection, that trust, that candor builds, and I hope, a lasting, it builds, no? Without the co-creation and about the human element of it, I don't think this can really work. The sessions, the prove it, human collaboration, it proves it all. We set durable foundations, and those foundations remain. If we carve out certain parts of these rituals, what will we have? Software is a team sport, yeah? We won't go over that again. Every person has a voice. Every person should work in the open. And to sum up, yeah, AI is the future. No, it's clear. We can't avoid it. AI is going to be, we can't avoid it. However, with the guardrails in place and the sort of common sense in place and the ways of working that will eventually fall into place, no one truly knows what to do with what we have. In my opinion, AI should amplify rather than erode collaboration. And I think that's the last button press. And yeah, as I said, collaboration compounds even in the age of AI. People are still needed. People should be at the core.